Hello friends, welcome to iSCSI webcast. Configuring iSCSI storage in Windows Server 2016 using Windows Powershell. Windows Server 2016 comes with a complete set of PowerShell cmdlets for iSCSI. By combining the iSCSI target, iSCSI initiator and storage cmdlets, you can automate pretty much all management tasks. So in this video, we will use Windows Powershell to set up iSCSI target on Windows Server 2016. In order to be able to use storage features related to iSCSI, you would need to install iSCSI target server feature. This can be performed via Server Manager console, but here I will only focus on Windows PowerShell. So first, let's open Windows PowerShell. Let's click on Start button, click on Windows PowerShell and select Windows PowerShell. At PowerShell console, first I'm going to type cd/ and let's clear the screen once. In the first step, we're going to install iSCSI target feature on the server. But before installing, let's check whether this iSCSI target server feature is installed or not. And for that, I'm going to run command get-windows feature -name iSCSI star. Okay, here you can see iSCSI target server feature is not installed on this server. So let's install by running cmdlet add -windows feature -name, and name will be fs-i scuzzy target -server. Let's press enter key. Okay, iSCSI target server feature has been installed successfully. Let's run cmdlet get-windows feature -name iSCSI. And here we can see iSCSI target server is installed on this server. Let's clear the screen. So once we install iSCSI target feature, our next task is create iSCSI virtual disk, a VHD file. Then after, we will create a target and finally we assign the iSCSI virtual disk to the target. So let's load the PowerShell module for iSCSI. And for that, I'm going to type cmdlet import -module -name iSCSI target. Let's press enter key. And now let's create iSCSI virtual disk by running cmdlet new -iSCSI virtual disk -path. And for this demonstration, let's open the File Explorer first. Okay, click on this PC and we want to store all iSCSI VHD on a E drive. Let's create one folder, iSCSI VHDs. Okay, let's double click on it. Right now there's no VHD. Let's minimize this console and let's specify the path e:/iSCSI VHD, and let's specify VHD name vdisk1.vhdx -size. Let's specify size 50 GB. Let's press enter key. Okay, let's open File Explorer again, and here we can see we have a one virtual disk with the size 4 MB. Because this is the dynamically expanding VHD, and that's why you can see a 4 MB VHD size. Let's minimize this. You can also run cmdlet get-iSCSI virtual disk. Press enter, and here we can see we have a dynamically expanding VHD stored on path e:/iSCSI VHDs with the name vdisk1.vhdx. Now our next step is to create a target. Here we want to create a new iSCSI target object with the name test-target1. The -initiator IDs parameter stores the initiators which can connect to the target. So let's create a new iSCSI target by running cmdlet new -iSCSI target -target name, and we want to specify name test-target1. Okay, then let's specify -initiator IDs, and ID type will be IP address :192.168.49.110. That is the IP address of our iSCSI initiator server. Let's press enter key. Here we go. Let's again understand the cmdelete. This cmdelete will create one iSCSI target with name test target 1. I specify the IP address of the initiator host 192.168.49.110, which is the IP address of our member server from where we will connect this target. Instead of specifying iSCSI initiator's IP address, you can also specify IQN, that is the iSCSI qualified name. It is the unique identifier of a target as well as for initiator. Our next task is to assign the iSCSI virtual disk to newly created iSCSI target. So let's run cmdelete add -iSCSI virtual disk target mapping target name. So here you have to specify iSCSI target name which we created earlier. Target name will be test target 1 path of our virtual disk, that is e:/iSCSI vhds vdisk1.vhdx. Now let's press enter key, and here we go. So once you assign a virtual disk to a target, now you can use iSCSI initiator to connect to this target. So iSCSI initiator can access this virtual disk. But before we go to our member server, I want to open Server Manager console once. Let's open Server Manager console. On Server Manager console, let's click on File and Storage Services and let's click on iSCSI. Here we can see this is our iSCSI virtual disk which we created using Windows Powershell and stored on e/iSCSI vhds folder. Virtual disk status is not connected because right now there is no initiator connected with this iSCSI target. And we assign initiator ID type, IP address, and this is the IP address. As you can see, the size is there, 50 GB. Now let's move to our member server. So this is our member server, and on this member server, first of all, I'm going to open Windows Powershell. Let's click on Windows Powershell and open Windows Powershell. At Windows Powershell, I'm going to type command who am I. As you can see, it will display mylab/administrator because on this member server, already I log in as a domain administrator. Let's clear the screen. To connect your computer to an iSCSI target, you must start and configure Microsoft iSCSI Initiator Service. First, let's get the status of Microsoft iSCSI Initiator Service. And for that, I'm going to run command get-service ms iSCSI. Let's press enter key. Here you can see service status is stop. That means Microsoft iSCSI Initiator Service is currently stopped. Let's start the Microsoft iSCSI Initiator Service by running cmdelete start-service ms iSCSI. Let's press enter key. Okay, let's again run command get-service ms iSCSI, and here you can see now the service status is running. That means Microsoft iSCSI Initiator Service is up and running. We also want to set the startup mode of Microsoft iSCSI Initiator to automatic. And for that, I'm going to run cmdelete set-service ms iSCSI startup type, and that will be automatic. Let's press enter key. Here we go. So now we have started Microsoft iSCSI Initiator Service, as well as we changed the startup type to automatic for Microsoft iSCSI Initiator Service. Now we are ready to connect our iSCSI target server. So let's clear this screen once, and now I am going to add iSCSI target portal first, and for that we have to run cmdelete new -iSCSI target portal target portal address, and that will be a 192.168.49.101. That is the IP address of our domain controller where we created iSCSI target. Let's press enter key. Okay, so now we have successfully added iSCSI target portal on our member server with the IP address 192.168.49.101 with the target portal port number 3260. 3260 is the TCP port for iSCSI. Now let's run a cmdelete get-iSCSI target. Okay, and here you can see we are not connected with the iSCSI target yet, and the node address is this. And now let's connect iSCSI target, and for that we have to run cmdelete connect -iSCSI target -node address. Here this is the node address, so I'm going to copy this address. Okay, let's paste it, and then we have to press enter key. Here we go. Now our computer is successfully connected with iSCSI target, which we created on our 2-min controller. Now to get the disk that has a row partition table, we can use cmdelete get -disk pipe where partition style -eq row. Okay, we have a one disk with the disk number 1, and that has a partition style row. Let's again run the cmdelete, and here you can see this is the disk number, and that has a row partition style with the size of 50 GB. So once we find the disk that has a row partition table, our next step is initialize that disk with MBR or GPD partition style. So let's use cmdelete initialize disk -number. In our case, disk number is 1. Let's press enter key. Okay, let's run command get -disk again, and then press enter key. Here you can see our disk number 1 has a GPD partition style now, because we have successfully initialized our disk number 1 to GPD partition style. If you want to initialize that disk with MBR partition style, the time you have to use switch -partition style with MBR. Once you initialize disk, the next task is to create a new partition on that drive. So let's create a new partition on it using cmdelete new -partition -disk number. In our case, that is disk 1, and -assign drive later we want to use maximum size of that hard disk. So we will specify -use maximum size. Let's press enter key. Here we go. We have successfully created one partition on our disk 1. After creating partition, we are still not able to store data on that partition because we still need to format that partition. So for that, I'm going to run command format -volume -drive letter. Here you can see drive letter is E, so let's specify drive letter E, and let's specify file system NTFS. Let's press enter key. So now we have created one partition on our disk 1, and we have formatted that partition with NTFS file system. Now you can store data on that partition. Let's open File Explorer. Let's click on cancel. Click on File Explorer again, and here we can see we have a one partition with drive letter E, and under that partition now you can create folders, files, and store your data under that partition. If you open a disk management, here we can see the disk which we are connecting using iSCSI. Let's open iSCSI initiator as well. Let's open SAW manager, click on tools, and select iSCSI initiator. Here we added a target portal on our discovery portal, and this is the first command which we run on this member server. Now under target, this is the discovered target which are created on our iSCSI target server, and we are connected with it. So that's the end of the video tutorial on how to configure iSCSI storage using Windows Powershell in Windows Server 2016. Thank you all for watching this video.